Good morning. Good morning, my friends. There we go. Some full screen helps a little bit so you guys can see me. I am obviously not upstairs in my YouTube studio today. We are down in the kitchen and we're doing this a little bit different than normal. So this is going to be some fun, I think. I'm flying solo. Ash is in town. She has a co-write today, getting to do really cool stuff. So I am on my own. It's just me and the dogs, so we're going to try not to burn anything down here. So how are you guys doing today? Let me know if you can see and hear me. And if you're here and you're wondering who the weird guy with the crazy hair and the Hawaiian t-shirt are in the kitchen, my name is Chris. I'm better known as Chris Cooking Nashville here on YouTube. And I've lost about 130 pounds with a proper human diet. And now I spend my days creating recipes for keto, carnivore, all of the different areas in the proper human diet spectrum to help people transition to this lifestyle or just add some variety to make it stable. If there's someone who wants things like that, that's what I do. And today we're going to be talking about the ways that your kitchen may actually be sabotaging your health and the steps we can take to fix that. So that's what's going on. You guys have questions about any of this as we go, please drop them in the chat. If you are watching live, please put it in the chat that you are here. Let me know who you are, where you're watching from, so I can say hello to you and know that you are here and interact in the community. We have a lot of great people here. Anyone with a little blue wrench next to their name is one of the moderators, and they are watching out for us, our rock stars that are taking care of things. We also have a bunch of people that are band members. And if you don't know what the band is, that is a private community that Ash and I have created. We have a bunch of people here in the chat that are in there, and it's for support. I do some extra recipes, I do live streams, I do all kinds of cool stuff. That is in the description box of this video, or at least it should be. And maybe our Rockstar moderators would not mind dropping a link to the band down in the chat for you guys. We would love for you to come over there and join us because we can go so much deeper in supporting you, show you behind the scenes of what we do, and you're the first to know about everything, including things like the upcoming cookbook, information about that, getting to see what's going on. So it's really cool, and we just feel like we have the opportunity to really support you guys, love you guys over there, and the incredible community that we have over there is always there to have your back and support you, because some days this is really great and you need people to celebrate with you, and some days it's not so great and you're struggling, and that's okay, and you need people to support you so that you can get back on track. I'm the exact same way, and we all do that for each other over there. We support and we celebrate and we just make it amazing. So would love to have you guys join over there. Let's see who we got in the chat, and then we'll get started this morning, and we'll start talking about how I have my kitchen set up and how your kitchen may or may not be detrimental to taking care of your health if you don't have certain things set up a certain way. So we're going to talk about that. Let's see, Carrie's here. Good morning, pulling the boat to the live stream. What's a noodle that only costs 1 cent? Penny. Love it. Good to see you, Carrie. Jeff Cox is here, one of our band members. Good morning, everyone. Not first today. As always, we'll catch you tonight when the day is done. Coffee, drink, and the dog and maybe cat at my side. Have a wonderful meat-fueled week. Beautiful PhD family. Well, Jeff, I am so glad you are here, and thank you so much for dropping in, for everything that you do for us. We just love and appreciate you, my brother. And we are so glad that you're having a good day. And I hope everybody's going to have exactly what Jeff said to have, a meat-fueled PhD week. So there's one of our Rockstar moderators. Janelle is here. Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Janelle, for all you do for us here. And she says, please like and subscribe. Yes, please do so. That makes such a huge difference. If you have not subscribed yet, please do so. And hit that thumbs up button if you're here. Lets YouTube know that you like things like this and helps me show it to more people so we can change more lives. Make sure to do that for us. It's a free way to help support the channel and just help us reach more people with this message of a PhD lifestyle. 22QCat Lynn is here. Good morning. Hi, Chris, Ash, Carrie, Jeff, Janelle, and all. It's a great day. Well, thank you for being here, Lynn, and sharing this morning with us. Yes, it is fantastic. And there's Janelle. If you guys are on the main channel, dropping in the CCN Studios channel. So I have a secondary channel to the main Chris Cooking Nashville channel called CCN Studios, and that is where eventually I want to move all of the health related information. So I can keep all the food on the main channel, all the health related stuff, or like these Monday morning motivations. Eventually I'd like to move over there. I still am doing this on all of the channels right now because a lot of people don't know that channel exists. And until I can get that built to where people know it's there, I don't want to just take this away and have everybody miss out. So eventually we'd like to move things there. So if you don't mind, go over there and subscribe and hit the notification bell so that if we eventually get to where I can move all these over there, you won't miss out on Monday morning motivation or any of the other interesting stuff we'll be doing. So, and Janelle says, be back in a minute. Time for more tea. Well, go get your tea, Janelle. Let's see. There's brother Dennis. Dennis Harrison is here. Good morning, everyone. Dennis is another one of our band members. We really appreciate him. Good to see you, my brothers. Glad you're here. Richard Williams, our neighbor in Copper Hill, is here. Hello, neighbors. Good to see you, Richard. And there's brother Lewis Stone, doing it wrong, but getting it right. I love it. Morning, all y'all. They double booked us with patience today. See you on the repeat after a nap. I love it. I love it. Will you go enjoy your nap, and we'll see you on the replay. Sherry Nevada Pup is here. Good Monday morning motivation, CCN fam. Good to see you, Sherry. Auntie, another one of our Rockstar moderators, is here. Good morning, everyone. Going to finish getting ready to leave for work, and I'll be back. Well, Auntie, have a wonderful day at work, and we'll see you on the replay, or if you can pop back in before you have to go to work, whichever one. Brian is here. Hello, Brian. Good morning, wonderful people. Good to see you, my friend. Grandma Patricia Hoffman is here. Hey, all, good topic. All about my kitchen. I hope so. Hopefully this is helpful. We have Lynn Reed. Happy Monday from North Texas. Good to see you, Lynn. We're so glad you're here. There's our buddy Rick Charger Mopar. Hello from Miami. Hello, Rick. How is the weather down in Miami? Probably nicer than it is in Nashville today. It's gray, gloomy, and kind of gross outside here today. And Carrie says he hit the like button a trillion times. Carrie, your hand must be tired, but I sure appreciate you doing it. There's our brother John Cranky Carnivore Cutler. Greetings from Tucson. Good to see you, my friend. Glad you're here. And Blue Diamond Bill is here. Hey, Bill, good morning. Missed a couple of weeks, but I'm back. Celebrated my 69th birthday yesterday. Well, Bill, happy belated birthday, my brother. I am so glad you are here, and I hope you had an amazing birthday. And thank you for coming to Monday Morning Motivation this morning to hang out with us a day after your birthday, when you could be out there doing all kinds of wild and crazy stuff. Appreciate you being here. Let's see. There's Jackie. Good morning from the Oregon coast. Here before start for once. I love it, Jackie. Really glad you're here. Another Rockstar moderator, Maritza, is here. Good morning, Maritza. Glad you are here. And there's Jolene, another band member. Good morning and God's blessings to all. Well, same to you, Jolene, and thank you for being here with us. And there's Margaret Chase. Hey, Margaret, how are you this morning? Says, hi, all. Janelle wants to know if I'll come and organize her kitchen, too. Well, I mean, I could, but, you might not actually like the way I organize it. I don't know. I'm going to give you guys some ideas, and then I'm going to let you decide how it applies to your kitchen, because everyone's kitchen's a little different. But there's some concepts that you can say, here's what I'm going after, this is the goal, here's how I would apply that in my kitchen, and you can decide in your kitchen what makes that easiest for you. So you may or may not enjoy the way I have my kitchen set up, but I'll give you some ideas that you can apply so that it works for you. Hopefully that'll make a big difference. It sounds like you guys can see and hear me. It's good. Teresa is here. Hello, Teresa. Good to see you. Hugo is here. Hello, my friend. Good to have you in the chat. And there is Liz. Hi, Liz. How are you guys? It was good seeing you at church yesterday. And Laura Jean is here. Hi from Florida. Good to see you, my friend. CV is here. Look and sound great. I'm so glad. Thank you for being here from Wisconsin. And Jania, or Yania, I'm not sure. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. Hello, watching from Ohio. P.S. Don't tell my boss. Well, I won't tell anybody if you don't. Really glad you're here. And Pamela is here. Good to see you, Pamela, from Oklahoma. Dave McWaters, watching from Ottawa, Canada. Well, that's really cool. You're a long way away from Nashville, my friend. Cheryl Cobbett is here. Morning, everyone. Hello, Cheryl. So good to see you. Teresa says, from East Central Illinois, good morning. Yay for the upcoming cookbook. Yes, we're getting really excited about things. We'll talk a little bit more about that as time goes on, as we get a little closer. But yes, things are coming down to the wire. We're starting to actually put the whole thing together. The first third roughly has been turned in to the publisher, at least the first draft of it. May need some edits, but the first main draft of that is in there. So now it's mostly just recipes, a little bit of stuff afterwards left. So now it's mostly just recipes. So there's gonna be a lot of cooking and a lot of photographs because I'm taking all the pictures in the cookbook minus the ones that I'm going to be in. So lots of work ahead over the next couple of months, but it's going to be really, really good. We're really excited. Maritza is watching from Las Vegas. Love it. And Janelle has dropped the link for the band. So if you guys would like to come and join the private community, we would love to have you guys in there. It is so much fun. It is such a great group of people. And it's not so much even just about Ash and I. I mean, we're in there. You get direct access to us. You can ask me questions anytime. I prioritize trying to answer questions for my band members. But you also get an amazing community full of people. And I have 3 different ways you can join the band. This is the one I would prefer you join. This is the Mighty Networks. I do have a Patreon and I do have YouTube memberships. And you do still get access to the same videos and live streams and all that in both of those places. But there's a lot of other stuff I can do in this Mighty Networks. You can have direct access, message me, all this kind of stuff. I can do more things and set up different groups. There's other creators in there. Amanda Decker is in there. Dustin at Keto Simple is in there. Victor from Southern Keto is in there. We have Pastor Bob, the Carnivore pastor, in there. Ash is in there with her own space. There's all kinds of cool stuff. I can't do that on the YouTube memberships or on Patreon. It's just, they're not set up to do it. So I can do so much more stuff for you in this Mighty Networks. It is so much better. And we're going to continue building that. There's going to be a lot more stuff of that in the future to come inside that group. So if you want to join, we would love for you to join over there. That's a great way you can support the channel too, because the reason I can afford to do this is because my band members help out. That's part of how we can do this. If it weren't for the band, I wouldn't be able to do this. I'd have to go get a job and there would be no Chris Cooking Nashville. Between my YouTube work and the band members, that's how we keep the lights on around here. So we just appreciate the band so much, and we try to give them as much content and extra stuff and support as we possibly can as a thank you for the small contribution that they make that makes such a huge difference in what we do. CV says near Kenosha, very cool. And Jay Ennis is here from Idaho. Hello, my friend. Noslow or No Slow, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Hello from Raleigh. Love your Euro meat recipe. I just finished some yesterday and we're making more this week. Thank you. I really like that too. I haven't made that in a long time. I need to make some and do some carnivore gyros or keto gyros for us. That was a lot of fun doing that video. That's an older one too. Apologize for the length and potential recording quality issues of that. I was still learning how to do all this back then. El Mission is here. Hi, Chris, watching from San Francisco. I'm a big fan. I miss breads. Your recipes help me out. Well, I am so glad. Thank you for being here. I'm just glad I can help. I'm really appreciative of your support. So, let's see. And Charles has a good question. Are you at the weight you wish to remain at? Lost a little too much and had to increase how much I ate. No, I am not at the weight that I want to be at. I have probably another... I don't really know exactly what my ideal body weight is. It's been so long since I've been my ideal body weight. I probably have anywhere from 60 to 80 more pounds that I would like to lose. And I'm actually in the midst of it. I am 22 pounds down as of this morning. If you guys saw my autism diagnosis video where I talked about autism and ADHD and OCD and these different things that I went through this like 8-month process of getting diagnosed, figuring all of this out, realizing why I was so dysregulated, why my cortisol was so high, and why I had started gaining weight, even though I didn't change my diet. Why was I struggling so much? I figured all that out. And I was able to get everything regulated, and now I'm doing all of this stuff, and I'm back on doing what I really need to do, and not just doing what I was doing, but actually really tightening the reins. And I'm on a carnivore shred protocol that I've developed, and I'm gonna actually be doing some videos about it. So I am, within the last few weeks, I am 22 pounds down as a result of that. So it's obviously working, and this is the importance of getting your brain back where it needs to be. Little things can make a huge difference. It's not always just about what you're putting in your mouth. What's going on in your body and what's going on with your brain and how is your kitchen set up and all of these different things that can make a huge difference in your ability to be healthy. So I'm not giving any medical advice. I am just telling you what works for me, but I will be talking about that shred protocol I'm using. You have to remember too, I was 400 pounds So being 130 pounds roughly down from that, starting out there, I still have more to lose, but man, I am in such a better place. And even if I never lost another pound, I would still continue doing what I'm doing because my brain and all of these things in my body are so much better because of a proper human diet. So I do still have extra weight that I want to lose, but you know, I'm just doing it in a stable and enjoyable way because this is a lifestyle, not a diet. And yeah, if you feel like you lost too much weight, then sure, increase your protein, increase your fat intake, and go lift heavy things. Because if you want to gain weight, you want it to be muscle, bone density, organ density. We don't want to gain fat. We want to gain muscle and healthy tissue. So that's fantastic. Thanks for being here, Charles, and good question. Jolene says hi from Connecticut. Michelle McDermott is here. Hey, alive. Good morning from Pittsburgh. Hi, Michelle. So glad to see you here. There's my brother Dustin from Keto Simple. Good to see you, brother. How are you today? And Colleen is here. Hello. Looking forward to this topic. Yes, we're going to dive in here in just a minute. And CV says, not at my desired weight, lost my thyroid, so things are different. Yeah, and this is the thing. This is a journey, and it's a different journey for everybody. There are some general rules of a proper human diet that apply to all humans. But there are some things we can toy with and figure out what makes us happiest, what makes us feel best, and what do we have to work with if we've had thyroid issues or had a thyroid removed, or maybe we have the stomach surgery that's been done and we have to modify it. Like, it doesn't work the same for everyone, and that's why all of us as a community have to support and encourage each other. That's why the band exists. So you have a place that you are completely judgment-free and totally willing and open to be able to share anything that you want to talk about, because we're not going to beat you up for doing it wrong. Lewis Stone knows what I'm talking about. And there's Dustin dropping the link for the band as well. Thank you so much, Dustin. He's another one of our rock star moderators, but he's also an incredible creator himself. So if you don't subscribe to Keto Simple, please go do so. And he is there in the band doing some extra stuff as well, so you can chat with him there and also on his channel. So please make sure you subscribe to Dustin. Let's see. Make sure I'm not missing anybody here. Maureen Hyde, Healing Catalyst, is here from Sarasota. Hello, Maureen. Good to see you. And just making sure I don't miss anything. Cheryl Vargas is here. Hello from Arizona. First time here. Well, Cheryl, welcome. I'm so glad you're here for a live. Let's see. And Maritza says, don't forget to move from top chat to all so you don't miss any comments. Yes, that's a good point. You can have in your chat, you can have it set for just top comments or all comments, and you'll see top comments. It kind of chooses what it thinks is important. All comments, you'll see what everyone says. So make sure you guys are doing that if you want to see all that. Brother Barry Weems is here. Good morning, Barry. How are you, my friend? And let's see. Kathy Hume is here. Good morning, Kathy. And Janelle is correct. All the cool kids are in the band. Yes, they are. Blue Diamond Bill says, thanks, y'all, for the birthday wishes. Working on reverse aging on my carnivore lifestyle. I love that. I love that. So great. All right, just making sure. Jolene says, way to go, Chris. Thank you. Christine is here. Hi, Christine. She says, congratulations. Thank you. And Janelle says, yep, lowering stress of any sort is important. Absolutely. It's why it's not just about food. It's about a lot of things, and we have to address all of them holistically. That's why I do what I do, and that's why my recipes exist, because there's times for some people that that's really helpful. Jolene says, I really want to talk about the extra work you are doing. I still struggle with it, with too much anxiety. Yes, Jolene, I'm going to be doing a whole series of videos. So I have this channel. I have the CCN Studios channel. I actually, though, am starting a channel called That Chris, and I'm going to be talking about neurodivergence, but living life with joy and passion and all these things. I'm going to do all sorts of quirky stuff. It is not about food. It is me just quirky on a silver platter, showing you guys who I really am, completely authentic, totally unmasked, just being myself, doing wild and crazy things, and showing you what I'm doing to try to make my life joyful. And part of what I'm going to do there, I'm going to do it here on the main channel some as well, but I'm really going to make sure to do it there, is talk about things like supplements I use, or techniques I'm using, or different things that I'm using specifically for my brain and the regulation, which is what allows me to do the extra work that I do and not become dysregulated and stressed out. There's also going to be someone that I'm going to introduce you guys to that helped me with some therapy. And I don't mean sit and talk about your feelings with a therapist and relive all the bad stuff you've been through. I mean actually using science to rewire some memories in the brain so you can heal them and you can move on. It was a handful of sessions and it's completely changed my life. And I'm going to talk all about that. They actually use this for veterans that are struggling with PTSD. I have CPTSD, which is just a complex form of PTSD as a result of neurodivergence, and you have to heal it, but it's a very simple process, and you go through it, and it's great. And Ash is actually doing it now too, because it was so good. So we're going to be talking about a bunch of stuff. So that Chris, maybe one of the moderators can drop that in the comments if they don't mind. If they can't find it, I'll go grab it and drop it in there for you. But that's a brand new channel. There's nothing on it yet, video-wise. There will be very soon. So I'm going to talk a lot about that stuff, Jolene, for sure. And Crow is here. Good morning from the Pacific Northwest. Good to see you, Crow. Let's see. Ann D is here. Hello, Ann. I'm going to catch up with a couple of these. We're going to dive into our into our subject today. Stevie is here. Good morning from South Carolina. First time here. Well, Stevie, thank you for being here. I am so glad you are here. And there's JJ. So nice to make it to all these lives this week since I'm out of school for my birthday week, aka fall break. I love that, JJ. Well, thank you for spending some time off with us. And cool, we are at the bottom of the comments. So, all right, so I'm going to, Janelle says she's searching for it and can't find it. So I'm gonna go grab my That Chris channel. It's at That Chris 88. That might be why you're not finding it, but Chris 88. But it is a brand new channel that doesn't have any content on it, so YouTube doesn't really know exactly what it is just yet. So Janelle, I'm gonna drop it in there if you want. Copy and paste that on your computer. So you can find it and go subscribe to it. And that should take care of it. So there is the new channel, That Chris 88. I had to put the 88 on there because someone already had That Chris. But the name of the channel is That Chris. So youtube.com/@thatchris88. There we go. So you guys can go subscribe there if you like that stuff. Now, if you are not interested in that, don't go subscribe just to subscribe, because then that kills my algorithm. So I'm trying to get that channel out to people who really want to see that kind of stuff, lifestyle vlogs, things about neurodivergence, things not about neurodivergence. It's not just for you if you're neurodivergent. It's just talking about how I live life passionately and for fun and how we live it loud, which is what we are going to be focusing on that channel. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the kitchen. Do you guys feel like when you walk into your kitchen, it is a struggle to cook, and it is difficult, and it is frustrating, and it is annoying, and it is stressful for you? If so, there are probably some things in your kitchen that need to be reorganized, because your kitchen being set up poorly and making it stressful to walk into it and cook, that is one of the hardest things to overcome, to then be able to cook what you know is good for you. It is so easy to go, I'm just going to go to this restaurant, or I'm just going to go through this drive-through, or it's just this once, or the excuses of why we eat stuff like that. And I'm guilty of it, so I'm not judging anyone. The excuses, though, are so easy to fall into, and if your kitchen is not set up properly, you are going to make it easier to buy into the excuses, and that addiction gets harder and harder to fight. You have to set your kitchen up properly. You have to have some things set up to make it easy to cook so that you are not stressed every time you walk in the kitchen. All these people that always tell me I hate cooking, I look at what they do, or I ask them about things, or they tell me what it's like when they cook, and I realize if I was trying to cook in their kitchen, doing things the way they do it, not having things set up, not having ingredients ready, like all the different things about cooking, I would be stressed out and I would hate cooking too. It's not that cooking is hard, it's that you're not setting it up properly and you're struggling to do it because you're playing catch up the entire time. You have to do everything on the front end first to make cooking enjoyable. That's a really important step. So we're going to talk about that. The first part of my cookbook is actually going to go way deeper into a lot of this to make you a better cook. So you guys start getting excited about that, and I'll let you know when pre-orders go live. But that is one of the things my cookbook is going to help you do, is become a better chef. So we're going to talk about my kitchen, why I have it set up this way, so you can maybe take some of these things, use them as tips at home to make your life easier. So first of all, let me just kind of tell you where everything is in my kitchen. And I'll talk about why it is where it is, and we'll go from there. So first of all, really easy stuff. All of my plates and glasses and cups and bowls and all of the things I'm going to eat off of and drink out of are in this cabinet. And there's a couple of things in there because I just kind of ran out of room for them to go anywhere else. Like I have some little ramekin molds and stuff. Sometimes I use those for serving, sometimes I use those for cooking. So they fit really well right there. Those are ready to go next to the stove because when it comes time for me to plate food that is done cooking, I do not need to be like going to another side of the kitchen trying to get out plates and then coming back while the food is sitting in a hot skillet and now it's starting to burn. Like, I don't have time for that. What I need to be able to do is I'm cooking here, I need to reach up here, grab a plate, set it down, and have something ready to come out of the skillet, or I can grab plates ahead of time if this is one of those like, I'm gonna plate multiple things all at once. I'm gonna take my plates and I set them right here so I can grab it, set it here, go to my stove, turn around with my finished food and plate. The less movement you can create between the food that's done cooking and the plate that it's supposed to go on, the less stress you're going to have getting it out of a hot pan onto a plate when it's time to serve it. It's really important. And I know it seems silly, but even if it's something that's sitting there, having your plates easy to grab, it's one less step, one less difficulty, one less extra movement. That's really important, okay? So all of my plates are right there. Underneath of that, I have my silverware drawer, because if I'm plating, I need my silverware. And in there, I have some extra like steak knives. We have some silicone straws for our coffee mugs and different kinds of things like that. That's all in there, and that's pretty much it. The only thing that I do keep in here that doesn't go elsewhere, just so I can get to it easily, I have like some chopsticks and stuff in here as well, but the only thing I keep in here is I have freezer tape, and I have Sharpies, so that if I am vacuum sealing or refrigerating or freezing things in containers or whatever, if I need to label it and I'm not writing directly on a bag or directly on a container, I have the ability to put some freezer tape on it and write on it what it is, date it so that I know what it is and when it went in the freezer, so I know it's not going to go bad and I don't have to open things up trying to figure out what they are. It's really important to have that ready to go, and you notice that is right next to the refrigerator and freezer. So if I'm putting something away and I go, forgot to label it, it's right there. On the counter here underneath all of this, I just have the surface of all of my counters set up with the gear I use mostly. This is a Tyfer Sink countertop oven. It's brand new and they sent it to me. You guys are going to be learning a lot more about this in a new video coming soon, so hang out for that. But this has been really useful. I've used it a lot as I've been testing it. It's great. So I have decided to make this live right here instead of the mixer that I used to have sitting here, because I don't use the mixer very often. This I use probably almost every day right now. So my stoves, my ovens are right here, and then I have my air fryer that I can pull out. I actually have a couple of air fryers. This also does have an air fry function, so lots of options there. I also have my blender, my high power blender, because that is something I use regularly as well. So it's right here. Again, next to the fridge, next to the stove. This is like my cook it and mix it all together area. That's what that's for. I also have salt and pepper seasonings, a little bit of olive oil for the occasion that I use that. I have all of that right here next to the stove, because if I'm cooking, I don't want to go running around the kitchen looking for my seasonings. If I'm cooking, I need to be cooking here and go, I need to salt that. Salt cellar, grab a pinch of salt, put it on something, move on with my life. Black pepper, right there. Pick it up, grind some black pepper, put it down. One-handed. It makes everything so much easier. It's really important to be able to do that. So I have all of that stuff set next to the stove. So all of this is ready to go so that I can season, plate, eat, cook, everything. Down underneath of here, this is kind of difficult to get to under here because I'm not wanting to bend over and constantly be pulling a bunch of stuff out in the midst of cooking. So this is stuff I use after the fact or that I rarely use. So we have food containers just to put things into the refrigerator down there. I have my mortar and pestle down there because I don't use the mortar and pestle very often, but when I do, it's very intentional. So I have the ability to kind of get that out and just be ready to go. Down here on the other side, I have a couple of glass measuring containers. I have a hot water kettle. I have some mason jars. Like, it's things that I'm not using on a daily basis, but that I just want to get to very intentionally if I need to. And that way I know it's right there, easy to get to, but it's not really in the way. So that's why that's under there. So the other thing that I don't really use a whole lot, but that I want to have access to, is up here I have some glassware. I have a glass bowl and a glass pie plate, and I have my colanders of various sizes and varieties, and my baking dishes. I really use those when I'm doing recipes, so I grab those and pull them out as necessary, but it's not like I'm using those every single day. So them being up high like that keeps them out of the way. They're easy to get out. I can get to them, but again, they're not taking up prime real estate. My prime real estate is the surface right here, my 4 big cabinets, and maybe some of this underneath stuff, but really just on that side, but it's really not that much. Everything prime real estate is here, and these face level cabinets where I can see everything. So under my stove, in the warming drawer, which is not actually a storage drawer, it's technically supposed to be for you to put food in while the oven is on, you're baking other things, it's supposed to keep it warm. Nobody uses it for that. I don't use it for that. So I keep down there my baking sheets and my baking racks, and like the cooling racks that I use. I use those in the refrigerator to dry brine and dry age. I use them to bake things in the oven, whatever, but they're right there next to the oven, so I can always bend over, open the drawer, and get the racks I need, and that's all that's in there is racks and baking sheets. That's it, nothing else, so I'm not fighting with anything. It's just a whole bunch of baking sheets and racks, and I know they're always in that place, and they fit really well, so they're easy access. Okay, so let's talk about the other side, which I've got the camera pushed back far enough. You should be able to see all this pretty well. So again, prime real estate over here is these drawers. I have 2 drawers over here. This one is all of my grabby stuff. Tongs of various varieties, my food tweezers. I have some extra spatulas. I have some right here, but I have extras, so if I need to grab something real small, it's right next to the stove, so I can grab that out. And then I have a few specialty instruments in here. I have like one of the little rotary cheese graters, and I have some measuring cups. I don't use measuring cups and measuring spoons very often unless I'm just creating a recipe. They're there if I need them, but they're kind of out of the way. Mostly I'm getting tongs and extra spatulas out of that drawer, but it's right next to the stove, and I use this big burner on the front of the stove the most. Out of all 4 burners, that's the one I use the most. I almost never use that one back there. This is the one I use the most, and my stuff is right there. That's why it's there. Now, just like this drawer is prime real estate, the one that's on this side of the drawer, or of the oven, is prime real estate. This is not the silicone stuff and the grabby things. This is metal stuff, flippers and all that kind of thing, hard plastic that I use in the food processor, some specialty flippers like, you know, little smashers and those kinds of things. And then there's a few specialty items in here. Can opener and a peeler, which I don't peel potatoes anymore really, but there are interesting things you can do with a peeler that work perfect for keto and carnivore. And I have a few things in here. So I have an immersion blender, by the way. An immersion blender, a basting brush, like these kinds of things. They're sort of more specialty items that I don't use as frequently, but I still want to be able to get to quickly. That's all in there. So all of my work tools for cooking are on the right side of the stove, the left side of the stove, and the surface. So when I'm over here cooking, something's getting done faster than I thought it would, I need something quick, I can reach out and grab it, or I can open the drawer next to me and grab it. Having it right next to your cook space is really important. Now, you don't necessarily need as much as I have. And I've got whisks and wood and spatulas and plastic stuff and scoops. And I mean, I've got all sorts of things because I do this for a living. You don't necessarily need that much. You might only have a handful of items, but keep them right there next to your workspace. And it's going to make it easier to just grab it, cook, and you're not going to feel so stressed the whole time trying to get back to how do I do this and whatever. So it's really important that you have your stuff in a place that is really usable to get to, because if you're stressed and you're tired after a long day and you want to eat food that is good for you, and you look at the kitchen and you go, it's so stressful to cook that. It's going to make it so much harder to eat properly. This has happened to me in the past. When I was in college and my kitchen was a terrible mess, when I was a bachelor and it was even a worse terrible mess, I didn't want to cook. I wanted to go out all the time. It's one of the reasons I got to be 400 pounds. So set that stuff up and it makes it really easy for you. Okay, so the last drawer then that I have is over here on the far side. This is, Ash and I have dubbed this the manly drawer. This is all the weird manly stuff. So if something's super hot and I'm like handling it, fire and heat and all this kind of stuff, I have extra of my gloves. You notice I have my oven gloves, which are actually welding gloves, but they work great. And I have finger control. I have those hanging on the wall so I can just grab them at any point. I have an extra set in here that are dirty, like really messy. So if I really need to grab something that I think is messy, I can grab those. I have my hot pads in here, so if I need to grab anything hot pad wise, I can. I have a meat tenderizer, like a mallet. I have the head for my my flame torch over here. I have a big rolling pin I use to bash stuff. I have my meat chopper that I can bash and chop up meat. And then I have a couple of presses, which are for my meat grinder that attaches to my KitchenAid mixer. So if I'm grinding beef or grinding chicken or something like that. And then I have one that is for the Vitamix high power blender if I need to push stuff down in. That works really well for the mashed potatoes, the carnivore mashed potatoes. So that's kind of like forcing everything to be what it needs to be, or handling real hot stuff, or fire burning. That's this drawer. The only other thing I have in there is my parents got me this really cool set of these meat shredder claws. These are really, really cool. And if I'm doing like some kind of shredded pork or whatever in a crock pot, or if I'm doing like shredded beef or something like that, you can shred it while it's hot with two of these. Makes a huge difference. So that's kind of my manly beat it into submission sort of drawer, and I've got just a couple of extra little tools in there, but that's basically what I've got in there. I've got my pressure cooker over here. Ash actually uses that to cook things for the dog more than I actually use it anymore. I like pressure cookers, but there is a limited number of things I use them for. So that's kind of my surface and my drawers. You know what those two cabinets are. These cabinets over here include things that I need to be able to get to, but I'm not necessarily using regularly. So I have some Silpat mats for when I'm baking some things in the bottom. I have my induction cooktops I use when we film. We use them every week, but I'm not using them every day. Those are under there. All the lids for my pots and pans are under there because I don't use lids that much, but when I need them, I want to be able to get to them quickly. And I have a great big roasting pan, which I use for like giant roasts around the holidays, turkeys, like big things like that. I like it, but it's not something I use every day. So that's all down there. And then on the top layer down in there, I have just some extra specialty pans, some large mixing bowls, but they're extra mixing bowls. Because in these cabinets over here, I have my spices that I use most frequently. I have bacon grease and beef tallow up here. I have all of this, like I need to grab it and use it here and put it back in large amounts, this kind of back and forth thing. And then here on the bottom, I have mixing bowls. These are the ones I use most regularly. I have the microwave safe mixing bowls, so I can have both options. I have my little silicone molds that I use for like the 90-second bread. And then up top, I have plating options. We have some wine glasses in case we're entertaining. We don't really drink any anymore, but you know, we have wine glasses. And then I do keep a little bit of baking powder because I occasionally experiment with that. I have a little bit of cornstarch. I don't really cook with cornstarch anymore, but every now and then I'm not cooking for me and Ash, I'm cooking for other people. They want me to make traditional things, and it's not my job to force other people to eat stuff. So I do keep a little bit of things like cornstarch and flour and traditional things around for other people that I cook for. I have a spice grinder. I have some gloves in case I'm handling raw meat that I'm about to dry age. I don't want to contaminate it. I have gloves up there. And I have a little container that I use for deviled eggs. When I make deviled eggs to keep them in the freezer, little locking lid container. You can transport things. So that's basically what I have going on. I have a few like random items up here. There's like some weird silicone cups and things. It's just like we just don't really have a use for them, but we don't want to get rid of them necessarily. So those are up there. And then in the cabinets that are underneath the counter over here, I have kind of some weird shaped stuff that doesn't fit anywhere else. So I have my food processor under there. I have my scale that I weigh things with. I have some silicone molds. I have a beef slicer. I have my meat grinding attachment for my mixer, which I now keep over here just off screen. I've got my sous vide system over here just off screen as well. So basically what I'm saying here for you guys is the surface area should be the tools you need to use, some open workspace. This one, it doesn't have a computer on it, is a workspace. I have a big cutting board over there that's a workspace right next to the stove. I have a little bit of workspace right here. Like, you have to work with whatever space you have to try to have as much workable space as possible. And if you set your kitchen up to have as much workable space as you can have while still having easy access to all of these things, it's gonna make life a lot easier. One more thing, I have two drawers that sit over here that you guys can't see. This one is where I keep all of my flexible cutting boards, as well as like a dough scraper for scraping off surfaces, like a pastry knife, but obviously I'm not making pastry with it, but I'm using it to scrape up like chopped things, different things like that. I have the plastic ones that I use when I make like my pasta, and because I use them so regularly, I have my piping bags over here as well in different sizes, so I can just grab those quickly, and those slide right underneath my cutting boards. And I have one extra drawer over here where I keep parchment paper and I keep plastic bags so that I can easily pack things up. But you notice, those are things that I'm gonna get after I'm done cooking, because I'm putting away leftovers or I'm putting away extra ingredients, whatever. That's on the far side of the kitchen because I don't need it taking up prime real estate here. It's off in the corner, so I can go and intentionally get it. So what I want you guys to think about is, in your kitchen, however you have this, what are the things you're using most regularly, and how can you make those front and center, leaving yourself as much surface area to work with as possible while still having easy access to the things you use most. Also, what tools are you gonna need to cook and do all that stuff? How can you make those easy access? Use your prime real estate for that, and then put all the auxiliary stuff elsewhere, okay? Now, because I cook as much as I do, you guys have probably noticed I haven't shown you any pots and pans. The reason for that is because we actually have a little coffee entertainment style thing, island center thing over here that Ash got for me back a while ago. And our coffee maker is over there. That's where the dehydrator is. You've probably seen it in videos. All of my cookware is on two shelves that are on the bottom of that. So it's just open. I can go grab cookware anytime I need it. It's right there. I can grab it. I don't have to dig it out of a drawer. I don't have to take a bunch of stuff off the top of it. If I had a way to hang cookware here that was out of the way but hanging where I could just grab it, I'd do that. But we rent here. I can't go screwing things into the ceiling. So figure out ways to keep your cookware ideally as not stacked as possible. I know you may have to stack it, and that's okay, but try to keep as little stuff on top of it as you absolutely can so it's easy to just grab it. The more steps you make each thing you have to do, the more it multiplies how difficult it is to cook. If you have to do 3 steps to just get a pan out, plus you got to go dig in a drawer and find a tool because it's way out of the way, plus you got to go dig through your refrigerator just to get the one thing you're ready for. Like, when you do all of that and you stack it all up, you are going to get stressed out. I used to do that, and I realized this was part of the problem of why I never wanted to cook, because I was making it difficult. So look at your kitchen, figure out what real estate you have to work with, and what's the most efficient way to put the things you're going to use the most, immediate access, as little work as it takes to get them. Then the things you use less, those are a little harder to get to. The things you use the least and just occasionally you intentionally need to grab it, those are the things you put out of the way. Think from the center outwards, or from your stove or your countertop workspace outwards by priority. That's the mindset that makes this a lot easier. Now, I have other cutting boards, I have other things that are kind of stashed around, but these are the main things I use. And in the description box, I have a whole list of Amazon links of things I recommend. So if you're like, I don't have any spatulas or wooden cooking utensils or different things, and I'm going to talk about some of them here in a minute. If you are like, I don't have any of that stuff, I need mixing bowls, I need this, I've got a whole list of things, and there's other things I can send you if you want. Let me know if you'd like, hey, what would you recommend I use for this, or I'm looking for this thing, what would be the best one, or whatever. I'm glad to give you my thoughts on it. Just let me know. So there's a few things that I think really stock up your kitchen in a way that help you tool-wise to be the best cook you can be. Let's talk about cookware first. There are 3 kinds of cookware that I recommend you have in a kitchen. Number 1 is stainless steel. This is really good for searing things high temperature. It's not going to warp. You need something with a heavy bottom, really, really heavy bottom, so that the heat doesn't just get sucked right out of it quickly. Because when you put something in this, you want it nice and hot. You want it to really sear or really cook the way it's supposed to. And you don't want the bottom to be thin to where it just sucks that heat right out of it and then you're struggling to get it cooked properly. So heavy bottom stainless steel, and I linked a budget-friendly set from Amazon in the description box. I have skillets and I have pots, like saucepans and stock pots and all of that are stainless steel. I've had these for years and years and years. I don't even think they make these anymore, but I did find some on Amazon that are highly rated and they look pretty good, so I went ahead and linked those. They were pretty budget-friendly too. The next thing, and I know some people are going to freak out about this, I do have some cookware that is non-stick, and this is like the PUFAS free and all that. Like it's the best version of this kind of thing you can get while still being non-stick. I don't use it all the time, but there are a few things that I make that non-stick is the best thing to do it in. It's very difficult without it. I know non-stick is probably not the best thing in the world for you, but having this and being able to cook things that keep me stable on a carnivore or keto way of life is much better than me saying, no, I'm not going to do that, worrying about the little thing that might happen from occasionally using this, and then making cooking so difficult that I just end up getting drained by the frustration, and then I go out to eat, and I eat junk that I shouldn't. So that's one of the things that really helps me. So I do have non-stick cookware, and I linked the set that I have in the description box. I think it's actually on sale right now because they have the Prime Big Deal days going on. I think it's on sale, so go grab that stuff while it's on sale. And then I have cast iron. This is Lodge cast iron. I actually am an affiliate with Lodge. I have a link in the description box for you guys. So go pick up some cast iron, heavy duty, high heat sear, kind of non-stick. It's not as non-stick as non-stick, but it does a really good job. It's more non-stick than stainless steel, and there's nothing better for searing a steak than super heavy cast iron. So go get some Lodge cast iron, use my link, it'll give you a bit of a discount there, and you can go pick out all different kinds. I've got a whole selection of cast iron that I have built up over time here on the channel. So that's my 3 kinds of cookware that I recommend you have. You can have all different variations, but that's the 3 basic kinds that I think you need. The next thing you need is some good knives, and there's a few that I really recommend you get. I have a decent chef's knife that is budget friendly, linked in the description box. This is my nicest chef knife. This is Japanese steel. I did not link this because, let me just be honest, these are very expensive. And I saved up money and I had like a credit that I was able to buy this and it not cost us so much, but I mean, these are $250, $300 knives, so I didn't even bother linking one. I found a really good one though that is very budget friendly, and I linked a chef's knife. This is your workhorse in the kitchen of knives. You need a decent chef's knife that has that rounded blade. It is the basic knife I'm going to use every single day, every time I'm in the kitchen, and you need a good one because if you don't have, it doesn't have to be super expensive, but you need a decent one. If your knife is not sharp and it is not balanced and it is not easy to work with, you're gonna hate cooking. So make sure you have a decent chef's knife. I also recommend you get a big meat slicer. This has the rounded end on it, so I can't cut myself. I use this to cut bacon. I use this to slice brisket, all kinds of large cuts of meat. And when it's cooked and I want nice slices, roast beef, like this is the knife you would use for that. Absolutely fantastic. This is a budget-friendly thing. I've got this linked as well in the description box for you. There's only two other knives I really recommend. And you can get knife sets and there's other things, of course, but these are the ones I use mostly. This is a paring knife. A very small paring knife is very helpful for getting in and doing small work around bones or different kinds of cuts of meat. It's really nice to have a paring knife. If you're keto, this is great for like veggies or things like berries. If you include a little bit of that, it's really nice to have a good paring knife. I've got one of those linked down there for you. And then this is the only other, maybe more specialty knife that I really find myself using. This is a boning knife, and it has a much thinner blade, and the blade is flexible. See how it flexes that way? That flexible knife allows you to get around bones when you're doing things like filleting stuff off of a bone, chicken, beef, whatever. I don't use it a whole lot, but when I do need a boning knife, it's the only knife that will do what I need it to do. None of the others really do a very good job. So a good boning knife, and I've got that down there too. The only other thing that I really think you have to have when it comes to knives is you need a knife hone. And this is not to sharpen the knife. This is something that a lot of people misunderstand. And sometimes they're even labeled on Amazon as a knife sharpening rod. This is not a sharpening rod. They do make sharpening rods, but this is not what this is. Sharpening rods are like diamond coated. This is not that. This has a texture to it, and the point of this is you're going to take the knife, and as you drag it across, you're not sharpening the blade. On a microscopic level, it is taking a curl out of the sharp edge, because as you use a knife, the edge can curl over, or it can get wavy, and then it makes your knife catch things, and it doesn't cut properly because you're not really using the very sharpest edge. This straightens that back out. So every time I go to use a knife, I pull it out, 7 to 8 passes like that, and you learn the angle. You know, it's like a 20 something degree angle, I think. You learn the angle, you kind of know what it feels like, and it just hones the edge to make sure it works its best. It's not taking any of the metal off. So I've had people freak out because they see me doing that, and they're like, you're sharpening that knife over top of the food and getting metal in your food. It's not taking any metal off. It's not sharpening the knife. It's honing the edge. You really need one of these because it will keep your knives acting as if they are sharper for a lot longer. And then sharpening your knives, that's a whole other thing. We're going to do a video about that, but a knife honing rod is really, really important to keep your knives working as cleanly and smoothly as possible. So those are the things that I've got going on there. Like I said, there's whisks, and there's wood cooking utensils. I've got the big spatulas. I've got some different things for sieving out solids out of things like broth. I've got flippers. I've got all kinds of stuff. I've linked a whole bunch of stuff in the description box, and there's a lot more that I could link, but that's all the stuff down there that it's like, this is some of the basics I would really recommend over time. You don't have to get it all at once. Over time, start stocking up your kitchen with these different tools and think about where you're going to put them. Don't just grab them and haphazardly throw them in to wherever it is you can find. Think about how often will I really use it? Is it a thing that I'm going to get used to having nearby, and therefore I need to take up prime real estate to have access to this like that? And if you do that, I guarantee you cooking is going to become a lot easier. One more thing I'm going to tell you guys, I have a little magnet on the wall over there where I keep knives. I keep kitchen shears for cutting raw meat and bags and anything else. And specifically, I forgot to link some of these in the description box. Go find some, but what you want is kitchen shears that you can take apart so you can wash after they've had raw meat and then put them back together. And I just keep these with some extra knives and spatulas and things that are metal on a little magnet bar on the wall over there. So So that's the basic kitchen gear that I have, guys. I've got some other stuff in the description box, like meat probe thermometers and a bunch of things, but I think that's kind of the basic stuff that I think everyone should have in their kitchen. So I'm curious, do you guys have questions? Are there things I can show you more about? Are there things you're interested in? Is there anything that I said that you go, I never thought of that? Drop it in the chat. Let me know what you guys think. And we're going to go through some comments here. Hugo says, tidy kitchen makes everything easier. Totally agree. And Brody says, my kitchen is my baby. I have it very fine-tuned. Absolutely. And it makes it much easier to cook that way, doesn't it? And Hugo, usually the best thing you can do, or at least I think, is to prep your kitchen space for future use. So whenever I cook, I clean up after myself so it will be easier the next day to cook a meal. I agree. You try to stay in the front of it, and then the process of cooking on the back half gets a lot easier. And I just kind of clean things as I go to the best of my ability. And also, I prep all my ingredients. This is part of what my cookbook is going to teach you to do, but I prep everything so that as I cook, it's very simple, one step at a time, and the only thing I have to do is wash a few bowls at the end. But that way, all of the work of like the heavy cleanup and the big messes and all that, that's already cleaned before I start cooking. It makes things a lot easier. So, guys, stick around for that cookbook. It's going to be really helpful, I think. Holly Springer's here. Morning, friends. Watching while cooking breakfast. Hope everyone has a great day. Hi, Holly. Auntie says, we'll have to rewatch as I'm still moving into my new kitchen. That's great, Auntie. Well, maybe there'll be some tips here that'll help you set that up so it's even easier and more successful for you. CV says, I live in a tiny house with a tiny galley kitchen that has only a few cupboards. I'm in the process of purging and reorganizing. That's great. Maybe there's some tips here to help you. Auntie says, wow, wonder what it's like to reach the top shelf. Heck, even the middle shelf of a cupboard, LOL. So, Auntie, that's a great example of how, for you, prime real estate might be down lower than it is for me. And this is how we have to take each of us, the kitchen we have, the way we are physically, just what we are existentially, where we like things. You pick your preferences, but you pick your prime real estate and you make it as easy on yourself as you can. And however that works for you is awesome. But the intentional thought will make all the difference in the world. And Dustin says, our daughter moves stuff around in my kitchen to organize and clean it up. It's not where I want things, but yeah, stresses me out. It will. It will. Ash will tell you, I love people, but man, I hate when they come in my kitchen and start moving stuff. I hate when people mess with my kitchen. Like, it's just because I know where everything is. It's right where I want it. It makes it easy for me to cook. And if you start moving things, inevitably, I end up needing something. I have no clue where it is, and I'm stressed out trying to find it. So it's just best to have your kitchen exactly the way you like it and keep it that way all the time. And if you find something that's like, you know, this doesn't work here, but it would work here better, move it and then always keep it there. And then you just refine as you go. Brian says, everything in its place. Learning that made life so much better. I agree. It makes a huge difference. And Jolene says, hey, Chris, do you have a link to products that you recommend? Tomorrow starts Prime Deal Day. Yes, I actually answered that. In the description box of this live stream, there is a whole list of a bunch of products I would recommend. And if you don't see one that is the kind of thing you're looking for, shoot me a message. Facebook, Instagram, my email in the band. If you're a band member, shoot me a message and say, hey, I'm looking for a recommendation for blah, 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 blah. What do you think? I will go find an Amazon link of something that I think is really cool, and I'll send that to you. And if you use my Amazon links to buy stuff during Prime Deal days, it's a free way for you to support the channel. I get a little kickback if you click that link and purchase things on Amazon within 24 hours, even if it's not the thing that link is to. If you just click that link and then go find whatever you want on Amazon and buy it within 24 hours of clicking that link, I get a small commission. It does not change the price for you. It's a free way for you to support Chris Cooking Nashville, and I appreciate you guys using my links anytime. Brody, push button or gravity grinders are one of the most useful kitchen tools for working with meat. Absolutely. Auntie says, making a mental note, I'm 5'1", Chris is 6 feet, give or take. I will flip his kitchen organization upside down for me, and that's perfect. So everything I have up here that's prime real estate, you put down there, and then you switch all of your not prime real estate up there so that you can use, like, you know, a step stool to get to that on the rare occasion you need it, and you're going to be off to the races, Annie. That's great. Dustin is correct. Having an Ash Taylor helps also. She is amazing. And by the way, guys, I'm going to put something up on screen here for you while we continue to talk. This QR code. You can scan this with your phone, and it is going to take you right to Ash's music video, which is going to be coming out on Friday. I believe it's premiering. Check this out right here. Yes, premieres October 10th at 4 p.m. Central. Okay, 4 p.m. Central Time, October 10th. This is going to be premiering. You can find this on her channel. If you scan that QR code, it will take you right to that video. So please, please show up. She is doing this as a premiere, so she will be there in the chat talking with you guys, and we would love for you guys to come watch her music video. Even if you can't be there for the premiere, please go watch that video. I have worked so hard to try to put that video together, and Ash looks so amazing in this video. It's so great. It's the first one we filmed with a camera that was not an iPhone. So it was a big learning curve for me, and I think it was really, really fun, and I think it's turned out amazing. So please, please use your phone, scroll back if you need to, use your phone, go to that QR code. I'll leave it up for you guys, but please use your phone and scan that QR code, or just go to Ash's YouTube channel and just set the notification for that. And please show up on Friday at 4 to be there for the premiere of that, because she's going to be in the chat with you guys, and we're all going to watch it live together. That's really, really going to be cool. So that is there. I'll just leave that QR code up as we continue to chat. But yes, Ash is amazing. She is really the only reason that I can keep things together. And let's see. Yep, I see people talking about the Amazon link. That is correct. Hey, there's Kara Judd. Hello, good morning. Day 6 of my furlough. Watch Chris cook in Nashville. Well, thank you, Kara. Really glad you're here. Let's see. And there's Rick Twinbrook Acres. Hello, all. Hey, Rick, how are ya? And let's see. Everyone's talking about Amazon links. Absolutely. Lisa, can I recommend a thin wooden board the size of your stovetop for extra counter space when not using the burners? Handles on both sides for easy removal when burners are needed. Yeah, if you're struggling with countertop space, get a wooden board. They actually make cutting boards that are intentionally made to be the size that covers a countertop, or covers a stove top rather. That's a really great option if you don't have a lot of counter space. Get yourself that. When you're not using the burners, you can use that, and then you can set it off to the side and use your stove as appropriate. So it's another good idea. Love that, Lisa. Brody says, I never put anything on my burners for safety reasons. So that's a really good point. If you've already started using the stove, you don't want to put things back on the burners. Now, it's up to you if you want to try that or not. Some people are okay with that, some people aren't. But if you're struggling for counter space, it's an option, but you do have to be careful. Brody makes a good point. Dustin says, it is truly impressive how much stuff Chris is able to incorporate into the kitchen. It's a relatively small kitchen. He's able to do so much in there. Well, thank you, Dustin. It's all about efficiency. And if you don't use efficiency, no matter how big of a kitchen you have, it's going to be stressful. So I don't have a huge kitchen, but I have a kitchen with a lot of workable space, and I've made it as efficient as possible. And that's what makes it a really big difference. Janelle says, in your kitchen tweezers, I never do bacon without them. I agree. It is one of the greatest things. Cheryl, question, Chris, do you have a hamburger patty recipe? I don't really like the texture of hamburger, but I'm trying to change that. Yes, so I actually have a top secret beef patty live stream that I did. If one of the moderators would not mind going back and finding my burger patty, my secret beef patty live stream that I did back when we were doing the live streams, I did that. And it's really, really cool. It's similar to my meatball mixture, but I kind of show you how I cook them, and it does change the texture quite a bit. So yes, I do have that. I would recommend you go give that a shot. Maybe one of the moderators can drop that link in there for you, Cheryl. If not, send me a message and I'll send you a link to it if they can't find it. Lynn says, I have those same meat claws. Works great. Absolutely. And Lisa makes a good point. His stovetop knobs are not in the front, so Chris and Ash should be mindful of safety. Yes, yes. If you have the stovetop knobs in the very front, it's a little easier to accidentally turn things on. When they're at the top like that, on mine, it makes it a little bit easier. So, but I have enough counter space, thankfully. I don't really necessarily feel like I need to have the big board, but it is an option for people who might. Dustin, can you imagine if Chris Nashville got to design his own kitchen layout? So Dustin, Ash and I are hoping someday to be able to afford to build a house. And when we do, that's exactly what I want to do. I'm going to build a studio kitchen that is not only filming ready, but is efficient and ready to go for me to cook in. I can't wait. I really hope I get to do that. I would love to be able to do that. So working to get there. Getting out of debt first of all is the key, and then we'll see what we can do. Maybe someday. Colleen, I need to rethink my kitchen. I'm always rethinking my kitchen. I don't think that ever ends. I think you just constantly look at it and go, what's inefficient? What would I like to be easier? And then try to come up with a solution of how to make it that way. Brody, baking powder is useful when you're frying things. It can be. I don't really fry stuff in a way that I would use baking powder anymore, but if you're frying things, baking powder can be an element in that for sure. Let's see. Dustin, I need to gut my kitchen and rebuild it from the ground up. I feel you. Colleen, I need to get rid of stuff and rearrange and make better use of space. This is so helpful. Well, good. I'm glad, Colleen. Yeah, it's knowing what you really need and then knowing where you're going to put it because of how useful it really is or how often you're going to use it versus I still want to have it, but it's not as necessary. That's a really important thing. You have to get that right, or otherwise your kitchen feels like chaos. And truthfully, most people that say, I hate cooking, I think this is part of why. It's this, and then they don't know how to set their stuff up, which is what my cookbook is going to talk about. So it's really important that you have things set up properly, or else you will hate cooking. Janelle says, my pantry is bulging at the seams. I have standard ingredients, keto cooking ingredients, and carnivore cooking ingredients. Same, Janelle. Same. I'm always trying to figure out how to condense. Oh, Dustin with a $5 super chat. Thank you, my friend. Says, when you get a chance to design your own kitchen, either for a new house or a house where you remodel the kitchen, you'll need a video series. Absolutely. If we get a chance to do that someday, I guarantee there will be a whole series of that. Colleen says, not an option for me. I can do better with my space after watching this. That's great. I'm glad it's helpful, Colleen. Let's see. Jay Ennis says, 2 cooks in 1 marriage of 55 years has created great joy and great stress at times. Kitchen organization has been challenging. We each have different ideas. We each have different diets. That does make it hard when you have 2 people that want to share the space. It's a lot easier when one main person is cooking, but yeah, there's some compromise that has to happen when there's 2 people. So that is definitely something to figure out how to weather. Charger Mopar. Well, there is one person here who will never be a rock star, but big band instead. There you go. Big band leaders were the rock stars of their day. Dustin is absolutely correct about that. Yes. Janelle, I love big band music as well. And Jay Anna says, we did hang all our pots and pans. Yeah, if you can do that, that's a great option. I would love to hang them, but I would love to hang them like out of the way. I don't like them hung like right here where they're in the way of things. I would want them hung out of the way, but where I can still easily grab them. So maybe someday. Maybe someday. Let's see. See what else we need to do here. Teresa says, I know what I'm doing this week makes so much sense and to have everything handy. Yes, and it makes for such a huge difference in your cooking experience. So if you have questions, you guys know where to find me, and I can give you just my own 2 cents on it. So at the end of the day, it's your kitchen. You set it up how you want. But if you're struggling with cooking, you have to start looking at why is it so difficult? Because cooking should not be hard. It might take some experience and practice, sure, but it shouldn't be stressful and hard unless you're not setting yourself up for success from the front end. Let's see here. Brody, since learning how to use cast iron, I've never gone back. Yeah, there's some things cast iron will do better than anything in the world. Colleen, I need to get rid of my green pan set and replace with stainless steel. Thank you for that advice. You're very welcome. You're very, very welcome. That set that I have in the description box looks like it would be great. Like I said, I don't have it because the ones I have, I bought those when I was in college, and I still have them. So, or it was right after college. I think I just graduated college and I bought those. It's like a Wolfgang Puck series. They don't even make them anymore that I can find, but I found something on Amazon that's a very similar set. So, Janelle loves Lodge cast iron pizza griddle. It doubles as a pizza stone for carnivore pizza, of course. I love that. And Charger Mopar has a Lodge cast iron griddle he found at the dump. It's very good. That's awesome. Yeah, if you can find cast iron like that and refurbish it, it'll last for lifetimes, multiple people's lifetimes. CV, love the Lodge outlet near Chattanooga. Yeah, I've never actually been there, but I would love to. But I do have that description box link for you guys for Lodge cast iron, so feel free to go down there and pick that up. Brian, I've also made it easy to clean. Once I got rid of the clutter and used stuff that multitasks, life is much better. I agree, and that's really important to set that up that way. John says, my Lodge cast iron pan is more non-stick than the non-stick pans I got at Costco for frying scrambled eggs and over easy eggs. Yeah, if you don't have really good non-stick, cast iron is going to do better than the cheap non-stick for sure. Dustin, I love looking for cast iron at yard sales that they are selling for cheap, bring them home and bring them back to life. That's a fun thing to do, man. It's very, very cool. Let's see. Colleen, meat slicer, is that what it is? I had no idea. Yes, that is a meat slicer. Sometimes it's called a brisket slicer, but it's for cutting thin slices of large cuts. And when I make bacon, when it's raw and I'm cutting my bacon slices, that's what I use because I like thick cut bacon anyway. And it's way easier to use that than it is to try to like use any kind of an electric slicer, because if you want those to work well, you got to get real expensive ones. And I don't have the space or the money. So the meat slicer knife is the best way in my opinion. Let's see. Sherry says, I still have my stainless steel cookware set that my mom gave me when I moved into my first apartment when I was 16. I also have my grandma's cast iron skillet. If you take care of your cookware, it'll last so long. Dustin says, non-stick was a way to get people to use less fat and keep them buying new pots and pans all the time because they don't last like cast iron. That's true, but there are some things that the best cast iron pan is still not going to do, like a non-stick skillet. That's why professional chefs still do use non-stick. They don't use it very often, but there are a few things they will use non-stick for. Let's see. Peggy is here. I have my grandmother's knife hone. Really like it. It's old, but works great. Yeah, they last basically forever, even the cheap ones. You don't have to spend a lot of money on one. You just want it to be a reputable, thing. Like, make sure on Amazon it doesn't have like a 2-star rating or something. But the one that I linked down there, it's very budget friendly. It'll pretty much last forever if you take care of it. Jana says, we started collecting knives in 1970. Our drawer's full, but husband just loves them. I get it. I love knives too. Colleen, getting better knives and a magnet I think will help me. I dread cutting meat because of my knives. Yes, so if your knife is not working for you, it is 1, dangerous, and 2, very frustrating. Having a good knife that you keep sharp is probably the most important thing you can do in your kitchen. If you guys have knives that are dull and they have not been sharpened, you either need to buy a whetstone sharpener, and I'm not talking like the electric things or the pull-through thing. Don't do that. That's going to destroy your blades. You need a real whetstone sharpening set, or, because you probably don't want to have to spend all the time learning to sharpen your own knives, because it takes a lot of practice, and you may ruin knives if you're not really doing the research to know how to do it right. The best thing you can do, there are companies, you can box up knives, ship it to them, they will sharpen them, and they will send them back to you. That's what professional chefs do. They keep their knives sharp with a hone, keep it working, and when it's finally getting a little bit dull, they send it out and they have their knives professionally sharpened. That's what every last one of them does, unless they're just really good at sharpening their own knives. But most chefs, they don't have time. They just send them out. So find a company that sharpens knives professionally, ship it out, and get your stuff sharp. Use a hone to keep it working well. And when it comes time, spend the money and sharpen your knives, because it's a real easy thing to use a dull knife and slice the tip of your finger off because you're working too hard. So guys, got to be careful with that. Colleen, I will definitely be purging and reorganizing. Yep, I do it every now and then. Janelle, I hate to unload the dishwasher, but I hate when my husband unloads it. I can never find anything. I understand. CV, they installed my cupboards all the way to the ceiling. I'm 5'5", and it makes access to the top 2 shelves require a stool. Grr. Yeah, I understand. Let's see. Lynn says, I can't wait for Ash's new video. I'm all set to watch the premiere Friday. Yes, guys, this link right over here, that QR code right there. Scan that. It'll take you to the link for Ash's video, which premieres on Friday. Please be there with us 4 p.m. Central Time. 4 p.m. Friday. Set an alarm in your phone. Don't think you're going to remember, because if I didn't have alarms, I wouldn't remember either, and it's my wife. So put that there in your phone, 4 p.m. Come join us and watch the premiere of that music video. She has worked so hard, and she deserves the support from this entire community. And I would love, 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 love to see all of you there supporting her so we can blow that video up. I really appreciate all of you guys. Lisa Marie is here. Hello, Lisa Marie. One of the few Mondays I don't have training. I'm so glad you're here. Got here late. Did you speak about pots and pans? One's good for an induction cooktop. So my non-stick, my stainless steel, and cast iron. Stainless steel and cast iron are induction friendly. My non-sticks that I listed in the description box, these Sensarte pans, they're the best non-stick I've ever used, and they are induction friendly. I won't buy anything that's not anymore, because if it's induction friendly, it's usually a higher quality because of the metal they have to make it out of to be induction friendly. If it's the cheap aluminum stuff that doesn't work with induction, it's usually a cheap piece of junk pan anyway. So those pans that I have linked in the description box, the stainless, the Lodge cast iron, and those Sensarte non-sticks, all of them are induction friendly, and I would recommend all 3 of them in your kitchen for sure. Caden is here. Thank you for that question, by the way, Lisa Marie. Caden is here. Hello, Caden. Would you be willing one day to make a video on how to make your kitchen more efficient? Well, yes, that's what this entire live stream was about, Caden. So hopefully that's helpful for you. That's why I did this. Let's see. And there is Janelle with the link to the beef patties. Thank you, Janelle. You are a rock star. Carrie says, I have a very old stove that is gas, and the knobs are in the front, and I have stuff on the stove, and I haven't burned down the house. That's great, man. Lonnie, or Lanny, I don't know how you pronounce it. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that question. Is it okay to eat my steak from the wood cutting board? LOL. Yes, wood, interestingly enough, wood cutting boards, wood is naturally antibacterial. So as long as you treat it with a food grade mineral oil, just to make sure it preserves and doesn't like wear out and dry out and, you know, get all cracked and everything, you are more than fine to eat things directly from the wood cutting board. Now, if you just put raw food on that wood cutting board, I wouldn't then put cooked food on top of it and then eat it, because that would contaminate. But if you have a wood cutting board and it's washed and it's fully dry, and then you put cooked food on it, there's no reason you can't eat it off the cutting board, and then wash it real good, and every now and then treat it with mineral oil. Wood is the best cutting board out there. And there's different beef patties. There's Dustin with the secret beef patties. So the secret beef patties is the one that I was thinking of for, I believe it was Cheryl. I'm sorry, whoever it was that asked that question. The secret beef patties are the ones that I would recommend. But yeah, there's some different beef patties there. Caden says, if this was an organizing video, I'm so sorry. I just got here. You're good, Caden. Just go back and watch the replay, and that's what this is all about. So we're glad you're here. Let's see. Oh, first of all, Maritza, just a reminder, like, subscribe, and share. Yes, please do so. Appreciate you guys. Blue Diamond Bill, due to a flood in my kitchen because my cat not only turned on the kitchen faucet but pushed it back to the countertop, we were able to redo our kitchen. Sliding drawers in the lower cabinets are it. I love that, man. Those drawers in the cabinets are amazing. Let's see. Janelle says my video froze. Let me know if you guys can still see and hear me. Or if something happened. If you can see and hear me and it's still working, go ahead and drop that in the chat. Let me know. Pamela, sorry, I'm chasing a toddler. Do you like the ceramic pans? You know, Pamela, I don't think the ceramic pans work that well, and they tend to also wear out quickly. They don't last very long. My Sensarte, I think, do a lot better. Now, there are some ceramics that I have used. I have a ceramic griddle pan, which is what I make my carnivore tortillas with. That does work really well, but that's because I'm not cooking a bunch of things on it. Ceramic is great if you treat it with very, very like kid glove care, and you're gentle with it, and you only ever use silicone spatulas. That it works fine, and that's what I do with that griddle pan, because it's the only thing I use it for is like that kind of stuff. But as far as nonstick generally goes, I'm using higher heat than that, and I'm doing all this different stuff, and I find the nonstick that I have linked in the description box just works better, and it lasts a lot longer. So just me. Brody, learning how to safely clean a knife is also important. I learned the hard way. Yes, a flexible sponge around from the not sharp side, moving in one direction. Rinse it really well and dry it the same way with a towel. Every single time, be very, very careful, because if you keep them sharp, they're a lot easier to cook with, but if you do something sort of a little carelessly or thoughtlessly, you can hurt yourself if they're sharpened properly. Lisa Marie, used to be able to go to the mall to get your knives professionally sharpened. Yeah, I think, if I remember correctly, I think my family might have done that when I was a kid. It's been a long time, who knows? Janelle says some sewing repair stores also sharpen knives and scissors. Cool, that's a good tip. Jay Ennis, we hated the electric stove. We wanted gas, but live in an area that gas is very expensive. We opted for induction. We had to replace some cookware, but cast iron still works very well. Yeah, I hate this electric stove. This is what comes with where we live. It's just, it is what it is. So someday I would love to have gas. That's my dream. Janelle, my old Revereware that was my grandfather doesn't work on induction. Interesting. Yeah, there's probably some issue with the metal in that. Brian, my favorite cast iron is my grandma's. Is over 100 years old now. Wonderful, and the history of that pan could tell the stories. That's great. If you have a really old like legacy cast iron like that, man, take care of it and don't ever let it go. That stuff is the bomb. Those things are great. Janice, the husband who loves knives so well also knows how to sharpen them well. Slicing and cutting is extremely easy. Bless. That's great. That is fantastic. Okay, it looks like people can see in here. So, and Sharon just showed up. Hey, Sharon, really glad you're here. I'm about to end, actually, but you can go back and watch the replay. And guys, do you have any questions before I let you go today? We're caught up on comments, and I just want to make sure that if you have some questions that I can get to that, answer those, and if you don't, that's cool. But no matter what, remember the QR code over here. Please go scan that and get ready for the premiere for Ash's music video on Friday. It's going to be such a cool thing to see this all finally come together, and for you guys to see this music video that she has been working so hard to put the song out and put this video out and all this. It has been really, really, really wonderful. So Margaret says, so helpful, Chris. Thank you. Well, thank you, Margaret. I'm really glad. I'm just trying to help you guys as best I can. And these are things that I do without really realizing, because I just kind of do them now. And Ash has to explain, like, not everybody thinks of that, and you should share it with people so they can benefit. And I go, yeah, you're right. Jay Ennis, thanks, Chris. You're very welcome, my friend. I'm so glad you guys find that helpful. So make sure that you go over here to Ash's video. That's going to take you to the video. Subscribe to her YouTube while you are there, and subscribe, like this video while you're here. Go check out That Chris. And if you're into the lifestyle type stuff like that, and you'd like to see all about my crazy life and some of the neurodivergence and the things I'm doing and all this stuff, go over there too and subscribe to that. So guys, I appreciate you all being here. We're going to go ahead and cut this off, and do whatever you guys can to go set your kitchen up. Take these ideas and maybe go turn them into some things that are helpful for you. I really hope that helps you be more successful in your kitchen. If you have questions, send me messages, leave a comment down below. I'll try to get back to you and answer. If you have ideas or if you want to know about other products, don't forget all of the links in the description box of this live stream. All of those products are down there. They're really, really great. So go stock up your kitchen one piece at a time, and use that stuff if you wouldn't mind, those links, to help support the channel. And Brian, yes, Chris, treat your stuff like you want to be treated. Absolutely. Take care of your stuff. Take care of your kitchen. It'll take care of you and your health. I appreciate you guys being here. I love all of you. This is Chris Cook in Nashville. You guys eat your meat, love your life, set your kitchen up for success, and go down and join the band to see a little bit more of Ash and I. We love every single one of you. Have an amazing week, a great rest of your Monday, and don't forget that music video right over there. We'll see you there on Friday at 4 p.m. Central Time, if not before. Bye, guys.